Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Golf Committee meeting of Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30, Section 20, I need to inquire if anyone is taping the meeting. Seeing none. And I would also like to announce, as I do every month, that the meeting is being recorded and will air on Channel 18 after the meeting is concluded. First item on the agenda is the roll call. Jeff Converse.
Present.
John Cookson.
Present.
Keith Hochstein, present. Suzanne Connolly.
Present.
Mark Bushway.
Present.
Bill Silva.
Present.
Jason Orby.
Present.
As always, we have Jesse Scheckman and James Bentley with us, but we also have tonight, I want to introduce her to the audience, a special guest, Susan Shanley, who is the financial supervisor for Barnstable Golf, and we'd like to welcome you to the meeting tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for attending.
Glad to be here.
Public comments. Jesse, do we have any public comments?
Negative.
Okay. Next item, to act on the minutes of the July 11th, 2023 meeting. Anyone have any comments or suggestions for the minutes? Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'm so moved.
Second.
Seconded?
Second.
Okay. We'll take a vote on the minutes. Jeff Converse?
Yes.
John Cookson?
Yes.
Keith Hochstein, yes. Suzanne Connolly?
Yes.
Mark Bushway?
Yes.
Bill Silva?
Yes.
Jason Orby.
Yes.
Director of Golf Maintenance Report.
Okay, try to be quick. So we'll start with Hyannis. We've actually started reloaming and reseeding a bunch of those cart path areas, and I think this time we're actually starting to get a pretty good catch on some germination, so that's good news. Also Thursday over there at the massive sinkhole on the 12th fairway, we're going to be sodding that. So that will be open for play in a couple of weeks, hopefully. That'll just be a lot quicker than seeding, and it'll be just a finished product. It's such a a landing area. And sod was the way to go there.
Is there a spring
James,
there?
is,
Yes, it's surrounded by. You said string?
Spring.
Oh, spring.
I mean, what
What they did is they buried tree stumps
okay.
years ago when they built the
Oh,
place. This is the second time
All those
we've.
sinkholes.
keeps
dropping.
awful.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yep.
Very
That's-
berries, yeah.
That's
what they used to do when they built golf courses in the 70s. Yeah,
Great.
just
Short right of 9, left of 3, all those areas.
All right.
Yeah. 4 on the left.
Yeah.
That's a giant one.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Left of 14.
So I think that's going to come out really nice. We were able to get a solar-powered pond aerator for the pond on 4 over there, and I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Oh, good.
The algae's still there, but the water quality, it's going away. I'm hoping in another couple of weeks it'll be much better.
So we can see our balls on the bottom.
So you can see the
wall.
Are you gonna put a top screen?
It's got a net in front of it. Yeah,
We did have to put up a net to protect it from golf balls. It might be a good idea to, for the
Just
shots,
bend
it
it?
might,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because you have it face it, but you're gonna put a little angle one to just catch the
it might be a good idea.
errant curved
Because
ball.
the box itself that the compressor in also has a little solar panel on it for the cooling fan underneath. So yeah, we might want to, probably a good idea to protect that investment. Our fairway and tee fertilizer applications went well, both courses. That should carry us into the fall. Haven't seen it pop yet, but this warm rain we got today will probably do it. Also at Hyannis, me and Chris are planning on stripping and resodding several of the tee boxes over there that are in rough shape, like 10, 11, particularly the par 3s. They need it. And we have the money in the budget to do it. And also, we haven't forgotten the forward tee on 5 that we haven't built yet, so that's all coming soon. That'll be nice to get
James,
done.
did you see people using the seed on the par 3s?
Not really, no. Yeah. Some of the people do, yeah. A lot of times though, I open up the box and it's just germinated in there because, it didn't get spread.
One of the new forward tees the little round one got in really rough shape, it really got beat up.
Yeah, on 17.
17. Yeah.
Yeah, we might redo that one too.
Yeah.
We made that,
It's too small.
we made it too small. We
Yeah.
kinda need to,
Expand it.
yeah. Cause the one on 18 is a little bit bigger and it's held up a
Much
little bit better.
Much better, yeah.
So that'll be coming. We'd like to start addressing some of the drainage issues here on the third hole of Barnstable on the right. We had a Band-Aid fix there several years ago that isn't holding up anymore, so we need to completely dig it up and put in some serious drainage, because it's just, we're not gonna have turf there in the rainy season if we can't do it correctly. It's some of the worst soil on the golf course. It's where it was the staging area when they built it, so the soil's super compact. We found all kinds of crazy things digging in the ground over there, metal,
Keys.
construction stuff, just
Wow.
signs, yeah, so.
So you're talking about where it gets really swampy?
It's.
It looks like a little pond over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's bad.
120 yards
This
out
is
of
beyond
way.
the bunker?
Yeah, right side along the cart path, coming in on the
Yes.
third shot.
Yeah, where you want to hit your second shot.
Well,
you don't
that's,
wanna
I
be
was
in the
just gonna
pond, it's just
say,
the
that's
worst
where a
part,
lot
yeah.
of the land digging.
That's
That's where
why-
you should be aiming on your
Now
second
that
shot.
you're
Yeah.
on it,
We want to fix it, because
Okay.
it's a problem, so.
All right.
Also that, and we get two smaller puddles right in the middle too,
Yeah,
which would be a little bit less of a project, but we're planning on addressing that soon. The only other thing I had is my Audubon stuff. I did the last couple of days get a chance to get back on that, and I'm hoping to start submitting some stuff to them in the next few weeks to at least keep that moving. But I don't have a huge update on that until I can
Yeah.
get them all the information. That's kind of at a standstill, so that's on me.
need any volunteers? I'd
Okay,
be happy to
Sure.
volunteer.
sure. Bill?
Yesterday I was at Hyannis making my weekly donation.
Yeah, yep.
I noticed on the, going from the 8th green to the 9th tee, the
Yes.
stone pathway.
Yeah.
A lot of ruts in there. I think people are driving their carts up there.
They are, yeah.
So it needs to be raked and probably some signage. The signs need to be,
We might be able to put maybe some rocks or something that only a
It's
push
stuck.
cart can make it through.
yeah, so with
Yeah.
a push cart, it's a difficult walk.
Yeah, then can
Okay.
you firm it up? So that you-
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
The other thing I wanted to mention is I noticed we were on the 6th tee box. One of my buddies was driving, and a guy came in a cart from the right, blind, right across in front of us. Didn't even look at us. So I'm wondering if some of these people need to be educated on safety on the course, because
A
I mean, he's
staffer?
got, it was a staffer,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I was thinking, why would it?
Not
come
in a
from
golf
coming
cart, it
from-
was in a,
oh,
Oh,
utility.
that's the
building
water,
cart or
that's the
whatever.
water department.
oh, could have been the water department.
That's not,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was probably
Okay,
the water
well,
department guys.
Maybe somebody should be telling them,
Okay.
because he didn't even
He didn't even
look
look at the tee
at,
box.
didn't even look at
Yeah,
us.
that's the water
I'll send a
department
shot.
guys.
Yeah, okay,
He's
yeah.
happy
good
to.
enough.
Is
Yeah.
it still Tom? Does he run Barnstable Water?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'll find out and I'll send something. I'll send just, hey,
If he's
a
got
reminder
both
to your
windows.
Yeah.
staff.
Good.
Yeah, is it a white truck or,
It's usually a white truck.
yeah,
No, it was like a,
like a personal, like it wasn't?
no, it was like a cart. It wasn't a.
Like a
wasn't
gator?
Truck, like a gator. Yes, exactly, like a gator.
I guess that could have been us then.
But it was straight across in front of the tee box.
Right.
I know they have contractors down there a lot too.
Yeah, why would
but
one
I don't know why
of
they
our
have it.
staff be going that way? It would, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's probably water department.
Yeah, it has to be,
They
yeah.
always, not always, but they go right through that path.
Either way,
But I'll send
a
some,
reminder to all would be wise, you know.
You know, James, just going back to Bill's comment on the path, I don't have to tell you this, but what you did between the 17th green and the 18th tee box at Old Barnstable to prevent.
We had problems with carts
Right.
going over that too.
They tried to fit over that bridge,
They did. Yeah.
and now you have the two rocks
Yeah.
there, and they can't fit through. And
We
it
might do
works-
something
It
like
works
that.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Works perfectly.
So we'll address that. Don't think I missed anything. That's.
Have you had a chance to assess any damage from the storm this afternoon?
We've been out there. Nothing too crazy. Bunkers severely washed out.
Yeah.
So that'll be a 3-day project to get those back.
You expect to be open tomorrow, or?
Yes, we should be. Yeah. We might need a delay at Hyannis just to blow off greens. They're a mess,
Yeah.
especially over there, just from some of the wind. But we will be open tomorrow. I took a brief walk out here and we're draining down pretty good for 3.5, 4 inches of rain. So
Yeah.
by
We were
tomorrow
watching it
morning.
on television and it almost like left old Barnstable and went straight for Hyannis, and I was thinking,
Oh, yeah.
you were saying Lucky James.
Well, Hyannis has some issues. The pond flooded on 4 and shorted out the little pump we have in there.
Oh,
And there's also irrigation running, so we have some electrical problems.
Oh.
Either we got hit by lightning or water got into the irrigation boxes. That was a lot of rain in about
It sure
45
was.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was-
Well, the town said it was 4 inches. I'm
yeah,
not
it
sure
was
if
right around
I
there.
believe
Yeah.
it, yeah.
really, 4 inches? My husband said that and I didn't believe him. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I mentioned earlier, the cohog department canceled cohogging, and they mentioned in the email,
Yeah.
at 4 inches, that's when they cancel it.
Yeah.
Not,
Oh,
you know, just temporarily.
sure.
So we did get 4 inches, at least in some spots.
Wow.
yeah, but I'm hoping we didn't get too many washouts as far as, I know our maintenance road here washed out, but that's minor. Fix that in the winter.
In the places where you planted the grass.
I'm a
Yeah,
little
I
worried
know.
about that. I was afraid to look. I'll wait till tomorrow morning.
We put some loam down at 14,
Yeah,
but that's not seeded yet.
it is.
It is?
It's germinating, so
Goodbye.
I'm hoping it's somewhat of a flat spot, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't venture all the way out there.
Okay.
If we have to redo it, we will.
All right, the questions, any more questions for James, Director of
Good.
Golf Maintenance? Okay, as I mentioned, next we have our Financial Supervisor, Susan Shanley, and again, welcome to the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I just didn't know if anyone had any questions for me or concerns. I know there have been some issues with the monthly report, and I'm thinking when I have time to work on that, I might do it differently. I just haven't had a chance to really delve into that. Thinking that maybe we can do just a total of what we've done for the month rather than a breakdown and carrying the total from the previous page, because there always seems to be a glitch with the previous page in Excel on the spreadsheet carrying over, and I may or may not catch it. But does anyone have any questions for me about what I do or what my role is? I know I'm very busy all day long.
Jesse, were you going to look at a different format this past month with,
Yeah, and I tried, I think in the email I sent, today, I sent the POS report for revenue, and I wanted to send you a Munis report, but they haven't
Yeah, it's not, they haven't rolled over yet.
they haven't peeled the curtain back yet on, they're still closing out last year. So Munis is kind of useless right now.
Is this a sales report that you give to your superiors? This is in substantial detail.
Yes. No, that's just
No?
our regular POS report.
Okay.
Those are the numbers that Susan uses to input into Munis,
Okay.
and that's what they see.
Okay. So they would see a summary of this.
Yes, they're not like, for greens fees, how many different things are you looking at? They're just seeing greens fees,
Yeah.
$400,000. They're not seeing, a breakdown like that.
Right.
Right.
I just don't see green fees.
And I've worked hard to consolidate that report,
Yeah.
believe it or not. I've eliminated or consolidated a lot of SKUs that were similar.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to be able to track certain things, but at a certain point, do we need, blue socks and red socks? Or can we just, you know what I mean?
Well, if there's brown socks, I'd be interested.
But you know what I mean, like, yeah. So I will, so next month, I'll send you a Munis report for both revenue and expenses, and you'll get a better sense of what
Okay.
our bosses are seeing. But she takes that report, and on what day, didn't you, tell them what your each
Well,
day is for you, basically?
When I come back from a weekend, I go gather all of the paperwork from both pro shops, and that takes me a long time to go through each one there could be some errors, there could be a problem with the deposit, I have to go to the bank and make the deposits. So that takes me a good all day to input that information. Once I get it all done, then I have to break it down on what's called a payover with all these, and then back up with these. And you can see I break it down by greens fees and who gets what. And then I have to, after I do that, I have to physically enter it into Munis. So it goes to the finance department. And that takes me a long time because it's tedious work. And if I have a long weekend, like this weekend I took Monday off. I came back to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's work today, and that took me all day till I left. Then on Wednesdays, I usually, Wednesdays I do the paperwork for the day before, Tuesday, but I also do the bills. And the billing can take all day. There's a lot of invoices that I pay. And those I have to take my time on because I have to make sure that I'm not putting in anything with tax or, I have to really study the invoices
Sure.
and make sure they're correct. Because I really don't want them contacting me and saying, making more work for me or them.
On a typical Wednesday, she'll email or text me we used to work right next to each other, but
Yeah.
at around like 2:00, she'll say, "Can you approve my invoices?" And I'll go to Munis, and there'll be like 40. On a typical Wednesday. And some of them are for nothing. Some of them are for $8,000. Some of them are for $30.
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
So that
Maintenance
takes,
ones get confusing,
Yeah.
some of them are
Yeah.
Hyannis, some of them are
I do a lot of
Marty.
checking with maintenance and with the pros because I want to make sure they want to keep the POs open, if they want to close them. On Thursdays, I typically do the same thing because if I go to the post office and we have more bills, on Thursday now they let you get the bills in before 1 p.m. So I work on bills again on Thursday, including the daily work, and then I do personnel. So I have people emailing me for their time and what they want to do, and a lot of things back and forth with human resources that they're looking for. Friday's payroll, so I'm constantly, going into the payroll system that we have and making sure everything's up to date, read any notes that the supervisor putting in there so that I can see them. And then all the little things that I do with the credit book and the gift cards and the accounts receivable and advanced tea times. I'm constantly working on something to make sure that I have everything up to date. And then, Jesse might have something for me to look for. And then I have all these reports that I have to put all of this information into that I work with, spreadsheets, things like that.
Do you have any clerical assistance at all?
What they're working on right now is because Brenda has moved over to work under Chris Canella. She wants to learn what I do, so if I do have a week off, it's not just piling up. But she really hasn't had a chance to get over there and work with me. So we've only sat down with each other a few times.
Remember, we had 80 hours in the office. We had Wayne.
Yeah, well,
So everything she just described, Wayne did 40% of that. So now she's doing it all. And I take what I can, off her plate. I mean, Wayne did the marketing. Now I do that. But we're only talking a few hours a week. That is, if that.
I'm okay with everything that I do because I like being busy. I want to be, just like Jesse had me at home working from home and Hyannis was closed down and I don't like working from home. I like working in an office. I want to get up and get dressed for the day and go out, and I want to have the office around me. And I'm very organized, so I like to have the office setting, and I don't mind the workload. It keeps me
Okay.
busy and my day goes by fast. So I have no qualms about that. It's the end of the year, like I just did all of the reconciliations for Susan O'Connor in finance,
Yeah.
that I have to show her why things are, if that balance is correct, that's Munis is coming up with, and if it's not correct, what's off. For instance, I had 2 things that were off with the hotels. They went through twice for some reason, and I think that was a snafu with a credit card that Irish Village gave us. But I have to fix that on paper so she can fix it downtown, so it agrees, so Munis agrees with the new fiscal year starting. So I have to work with a lot of things balancing that we need Munis to match what's in POS to go forward with the new year. So that took me a long time to do because there are so many things that I have to reconcile.
Just like the tournaments thing, a lot of advanced tee times, we take in a lot of money before July 1st that doesn't really apply until after.
Right.
Tournament deposits, advanced times, credit, so there's a lot of, why doesn't this match? Well, we took a tournament deposit in May for a tournament in September.
Right.
And now we're through July, and I would like to go in and see where credit book is and the gift cards, but I can't because they haven't rolled over
Right.
to Munis yet, so I can see that all those numbers went through that I've been putting in for the whole month of July. So, till then,
We spend a lot of time waiting on
Yeah.
the mothership to, and I get it, they have a
Yeah,
million
yeah,
other things
yeah.
going on, but,
But I enjoy my job, I love it,
Okay.
and I love working with Jesse, and the guys are great, everybody's great. I love what I do, and if I make a mistake, all I can do is apologize and, try better and.
Well, we really, really appreciate all the work you do.
Oh, I
think
really
I'm speaking
appreciate
for the
that,
whole
thank you very
committee.
much, thank you, and I appreciate all of you.
I think that's absolutely the truth. But at the last meeting, we had a 10 or 15 minute discussion about simplifying this process.
Yes, and that's what I wanna work on.
And do you have any suggestions about simplifying that?
I do,
And at the same time,
yes.
listen to the members as to what
Yes.
information.
What you
they wanna
really
get.
want broken down. If you would like to email me, if someone would like to take on that responsibility of asking each other what you would really like to see, and then one person emailing Jesse and myself, Jesse and I can talk about it and what else we think needs to be on there. And that's something that I can work on as the season gets slower going into the winter, because that's the time for me to really update things that Nancy did. And there's nothing wrong, Nancy did a great job, she was I still call Nancy sometimes, because I love her, we became really good friends, but,
you inherited a lot.
I inherited a lot of things that, it could be probably a little bit simplified, easier to read, not so much on there, there might be things you don't really want to see or things that you want to see that over other things. So if you could all give me your feedback, that would be really, really helpful. And then I can go from there.
What do you think the best process would be to funnel through you or individually?
No, I think they should go right to Jesse.
So individually?
That might be the subject of a meeting. A whole meeting could be spent on that.
Sure, honestly,
I
yeah.
think the easiest thing here is, what are the standardized reports that come out of Munis?
Yes.
Right, and I was
Yeah.
hoping to.
No.
have that to you too, yeah.
I'm just saying, rather than spin up a whole bunch of cycles, as you're
Yeah.
saying, you want,
Munis
as
isn't-
things slow down, so.
It isn't extremely user-friendly. You can print 5,000 reports that all give the same information, presented different ways. She and I will run the same, we'll run a report, and we won't give different numbers, but it'll look very different.
What does
The
Chris
bottom
look
line's
at?
the same.
What does Chris Canella look at? Well,
Nothing.
mean, he doesn't look at anything.
He's not,
Well, POS is up
No.
to date, Munis is not. Munis is always behind.
right,
Okay.
So,
and they don't talk to each other.
yeah, they don't
She
talk
has
to
to
each other.
manually,
So I have to get the information from POS so that I'm giving you up-to-date information. Because if I used Munis, it would be a week to 2 weeks behind.
So how does the POS system, what does that compare to Munis? Totally separate?
strictly internal.
Strictly internal to whom? To the golf operation?
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody else uses, Club Profit is the name of the company.
Okay.
We don't use it to its maximum capabilities. It can also be, Yarmouth Golf uses it for their tee time system. It could be,
Really? Any chance we can get rid of Chelsea?
I'll get to that.
That was the wrong thing to say.
Wrong thing to say to Jason.
They use it for tournament registries, yeah, so, POS, it's a very, but we need it. We need a golf specific.
Yeah.
I don't know what software, the dump uses but we need a golf specific program.
So I'm thinking there's a report in your mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, that should go to the golf committee.
Refuse
The golf
recycling center.
committee needs a report.
Yes.
And in my mind, streamlining that report is a great idea.
Yes.
And waiting until this winter when things slow down works for me personally.
I'll still give you what I have.
Yep,
I work on that every month. I apologize for the last one. I was trying to get those deadlines into Susan, and I was just trying to do the daily work on top of that.
yeah.
And I made a couple of boo-boos, but yeah.
Keeps us
I
on
could-
our toes, that's okay.
But it means you're paying attention too,
That's
so that's
exactly
good.
Well,
correct.
So I will definitely go back and look at that. I have a couple of ideas that I'll run by Jesse. Send something out to all of you. What do you think? What do you think that you want to see more of or less of? And we'll go from there so that everybody's happy with whatever we can provide to you. And and we can also provide a few things from POS if that's helpful. If you really want to see the big numbers.
POS will always look like
Yeah.
that. I can't strip anything away.
Right.
I can't just have it say greens fees X.
Right.
It's always
Yeah.
going to look like that.
Yeah.
Can I see that from you?
But I mean, those are the numbers she's using.
Yeah.
I mean, when she inputs an immunist,
Well,
she's
I
not looking.
have-
She doesn't care
I-
the individual. She's just what's the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah.
line.
What I do is I want to make sure everything I'm given matches
Mhm.
what's in POS, and that's what I do. Every month I go in there and I'm like, okay, that matches. When I first started, when Wayne was still there, I had a day where things didn't match at all one month, and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to find this? So I found it all, and I figured out the errors I made by learning, but I had to go through all these envelopes to figure out what I did. But that's what I go by now. And when I put all this information in, I have to make sure that it matches what POS says, because that's what I'm telling everyone, that it matches based on the work that the pro shops are bringing in and what they're doing. So it's all a matter of matching and balancing that so that it's correct.
I'm just interested in the fiduciary aspect of the golf committee's role here.
That's open.
Yeah.
So knowing that the golf operation is healthy, continues to stay profitable, with some historic comparisons is really important, at least to a few of us, I think.
Sure.
I like to know how many, the rounds history, for example, that tells you something.
Yes.
So, but anything that could be streamlined, go for it,
Okay.
I'm personally encouraged to hear your attitude about your job. You sound very
Exactly.
positive. We were wondering, I was wondering whether or not you were simply overworked coming into a new position, no offense, but to hear that you're enjoying your job, you like the job, that is very important to me, and I know it's
Yeah.
important to the other members
It's
of
important to
the
me
committee. Of course
also,
it is.
and when Bruce left, my life flashed before my eyes. I won't lie about that, because he was the only one that, he was saying, I'm gonna sit down with you, I'm gonna sit down with you, and then when he said I'm resigning, I was like, no, you're not. I thought he was joking, and, but
Now you have Jesse.
he's wonderful.
He really is. Yes.
I have to say, I
What a
will say
difference
this,
one
and I'm
meeting
saying
makes.
this on camera. Jesse's one of the best bosses I've ever had, because he's so calm and he's so relaxed and he doesn't get flustered, and if I make a mistake, he's very supportive, and like the staff I said is great as well, but Jesse's a great boss. I can't say
all right.
otherwise. Well, you are.
He says, all right.
I slipped you.
Yeah.
So, no,
All right,
I love what I do.
That-
Thank you.
That's very
Yeah.
important.
Thank
you.
So we can work to help you,
Merit
and you can make
increases next week.
suggestions as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have, as Suzanne said, financial responsibilities to maintain the integrity of the course. We know that's in good shape. But we also perhaps may be able to simplify this document.
Yeah, that's something I'm gonna work on.
Okay. Thank you, Susan.
All right.
Thank you.
You're a breath of fresh air, I must say.
Oh, thank you very much.
I love my job.
Yeah.
I do
A
love
rose
Sitting away in the
between,
federal.
Two
Right.
thorns.
thorns.
They
Absolutely.
get tired of talking to me, Jesse.
Yeah.
Needs a new face.
all right, any other questions for Susan?
We're good.
No, seeing none. Director of Golf Report, Jesse?
So before I start, what I actually had written, I wanted to mention something. I said it earlier about a lot of times we wait on the mothership, so to speak. And it reminded me of something that I wanted to say. You'll notice, you probably realize you haven't gotten an email in a long time, or a while, from the club. You know, just not from my personal, but from Barnstable Golf. I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus. We have a credit card that we use to pay for, it's $25 a month. It's nothing. But we pay for that software, that company, Send in Blue, whatever it is, too, right? And other people are on this credit card as well within the town. Since, for the third time in 18 months, the bill didn't get paid. That's not us.
Cards maxed out?
That's no. God, I hope not. I mean, but for the third time in 18 months, the bill didn't get paid and our account got. I said, you know what? I don't want to wait anymore. I'm just going to put it on my own personal credit card. It's $25. I was told, no, don't do that.
No, you can't.
Okay? So I've been super frustrated. I'm going to ask if we can get our own credit card that other divisions aren't also sharing. Or I'll use my own personal one and submit for reimbursement. I'll pay for the whole year up front, 300, whatever. But it's been frustrating for me. That's why nothing's come out. Because, again, third time in 18 months.
It's kind of cuckoo.
I'm not happy about it, but
Oh,
what can you do?
nothing.
Yeah. So, all right, director's report. Typically, I start out with updates on both the clubhouse and the cart lease. But if I were to do that right now, I'd basically just be reciting last month's report because nothing has changed.
Well, have we made any progress over there though?
30 days ago, we're in the exact same boat. The asbestos removal's done. We're waiting on a mechanical review. Again, see last month's report. I mean, nothing's happened in the last 30 days. Nothing.
That's unbelievable.
It's, yeah.
Nothing in terms of either actual
Nothing.
work
Nothing.
or planning. No planning.
Oh, yes. We are waiting for this company to come in and do the mechanical review to tell us what we need to do to get ourselves set up for the next 20 years with all the HVAC and plumbing and electrical. That has not happened yet. I don't know why. It's above me. Once that happens, we'll get the report and then we'll act on that. But we can't do any architectural drawings until we have that report.
The town hired this company?
Yes. Yep. We paid for it out of FY23 money, about $21,000 for this report. And to my knowledge, that person has not been on site yet. I don't know how much time they need to spend on site, but, so.
Is there anything that can be done to expedite this?
I've tried it all.
Okay.
I understand the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but at a certain point, if I'm just poking every day, it almost has a counterproductive effect.
Who are you poking?
My boss,
Chris?
he's on vacation this week, well earned. But so is David Anthony, who's kind of heavily involved in this. I was able to get the lease on the contract on the trailer rental for the pro shop expires halfway through this month, so we were able to renew that for another 6 months. At it's good money, but insurance should be taking care of it. But yeah, I'm just waiting. And I hate to be negative about it.
So it's a contract that someone awarded to this firm?
Yep.
Do you have the contract? Have you seen it? Or?
I've only seen the RFP. So, I mean, it's pretty, the language in it is over my head as far as, what they're doing. But there's no time frame that I saw on it.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right.
That's not good.
So we're waiting. Just waiting.
I think the town sewer has a lot to do with this, and they're looking for so many engineers right now. You should see the engineering positions that they're looking for. I think
The
that-
civil engineers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just engineer, I think they're so busy with their engineers and the town sewer project.
Of course.
At the end of the day, the town architect is the one who's
Yeah.
kind of leading this project. And all I hear about is how busy he is. And I'm not saying he's not, but that's what I keep hearing. And as an enterprise fund, we're not budgeted. We're not, there's no general fund support. And we don't pay any of their salaries. The town architect isn't getting a penny from the golf division. So, we tend to be a little lower on the priority list.
He has a salary though,
Yeah,
and we're part of, a big part
yeah.
of the town of Barnstable. Whether he's getting, well, he shouldn't be getting anything from us separately.
No, but if somebody from Structures and Grounds or the DPW comes and does work with us, we get charged for their time. Because they are not, does that make sense? I mean, it doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We get charged. When the pro shop door at Hyannis, the main door down below, was replaced last year, we got a new door. We paid $700 in labor to the DPW to have that door installed. That's how the money gets moved around. So, and a lot of time it's on overtime. They'll only come after their normal 8 to 4 shift, or they'll come on a weekend. And now we're paying overtime to a town employee. Comes out of our staff budget. Yeah, because we are an enterprise fund. We're on our own.
Well, that's how it worked at Highway also when I worked there. I built a lot of departments for the gas and the diesel they would use from our pumps. And we had to pay the landfill, the transfer station, if we picked up mattresses and things on the road, we had to pay them. We couldn't just bring it over and drop it off. We get charged for that. Just like any town, any person going there.
That's
So they all
what's,
charge each other.
yeah, the money gets moved around internally. That's one of the toughest things about being an enterprise fund is we're on our own, as a rule, we're on our own financially, but we still have to play by their rules as far as, you know, I'm being told, like when we did the carpet project, DPW, we were told DPW had to be involved. So now we're on their schedule.
And they bid it wrong.
And so, but we were told,
They did. They missed
they
the,
have
they
to-
missn't the fans, they missed the berms.
You know,
They didn't
paving
know,
is
they didn't know how
so we
to
were
pave
told.
a golf course. They just
So-
know how to pave.
right. So that's what we're dealing with. I'm just waiting. And I know this isn't a very positive thing to be saying, but I don't know what else to say. I'm just, every day I stare at my email, nope, nothing today, okay. So hopefully I'm not saying the same thing next month. It's pretty frustrating.
So what was the point on the carts? Do you still don't have the gators and all that?
Same thing, nothing.
Are they still given extended lease terms because of it, or?
Yeah, I mean, technically, from what I understand, the lease hasn't started yet, in theory.
Oh,
It was only gonna start once we were made whole.
right.
But I mean, that's something we'll deal with 5 years from now. It's, you know, we made our first payment, right? One of two.
I'm still waiting for the second.
We haven't made the June payment yet, the second payment of FY23. We still have $46,000 encumbered from FY23 money, but we haven't gotten
Yeah, I
a
spoke to
bill
the rep and she said, I'll send you the invoice when it's ready.
yeah.
I like the new carts that got giddy up.
They're good. They're great.
I mean, can we communicate with Mark Elves on this issue at all? Just to say we're disappointed?
Sure.
You know,
I mean, Amber Patterson, the procurement officer, she can be tough. She said she had what she called a not so pleasant conversation with the rep, and it was the same excuses. All the carts are down in Georgia, supply chain.
Oh, I'm talking about the building.
The building.
I'm talking about
Oh, I'm sorry,
about
I'm
the
sorry.
building issue. You know, to move this thing along, voice
I
our
can't stop you.
concern.
Probably
To voice our concern
Yeah.
that,
probably at Mark Ells or Dan Santos, DPW director. He's
Dan is overseeing the rebuilding of the
no,
clubhouse.
but he works
Well,
with all the engineers. He
I
is
mean,
their-
Mark
he's
Barnaccio
their
works for him,
supervisor,
right, the town architect. I'm certainly not going above my boss's head, Chris
I mean,
Canella.
who appoints
but-
who appoints the committee? The town council?
What, this committee?
Yeah, this
Yes,
committee, yeah.
yeah, town
I mean,
council.
There's gotta be somebody that we can at least voice our
Perhaps we-
concern about the speed with which this is being dealt with.
Ironically, the town council president, Matt Levesque,
Yeah.
whose son just won the club championship,
Is
is the golf liaison. That's where you go, Matt Levesque. Yeah. But if it comes from you, great. You know, I don't want to jump.
Yeah.
Well, would we like to, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be at the next meeting, but would you like to invite him to the next meeting?
I think that's a great idea.
When he first became our rep, he came to at least one, if not two meetings, and he was very enthusiastic. he's enthusiastic because golf is in his family, and as Jesse said, his son had a very successful tournament.
Yeah, if nothing else, it
And
opens
I
up the
sent
lines of
him a message.
communication, you know, and that may be worthwhile going forward anyway.
I might suggest we invite both Matt and Mark to the next meeting, and I think both of them would come, and we could express ourselves. The alternative, of course, is to actually attend town council, as you know I often do, and speak publicly about our disappointment, but a first step that would probably not annoy them as much is to invite them to the next golf committee meeting.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think the chain of command would indicate that we could go through our rep first.
Right.
That's the way I feel
Yeah.
about it. I don't know with the rest of the committee.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think
I do
going
too.
through the chain of command is very important in this situation, and we can invite him to the next meeting. I personally can call him
Yeah.
and invite him and explain the situation.
I don't know how much he'll have to offer besides I'll look into it.
Well, I
You
don't
know
think
what I
he
mean?
will,
Right.
because it's difficult for all of those people, even though he's our rep.
They can't possibly.
But
They
he's
know.
also
can't
the-
know everything.
He's the
But-
president of council.
But the frustration at not even having this electrical engineering company
Right.
show up now, how long ago was the asbestos eliminated? About, Jesse, about
A month.
3 weeks, a month?
a month.
I sat here last month at this meeting and told you all that it was done.
Yeah, it was
So
done,
at least,
that's
at least
right.
So
5 weeks.
they weren't coming in, my point is, they weren't gonna come in before the asbestos was eliminated.
Of course, right,
So now it's been 1 month.
Right.
And they haven't done anything.
correct.
Does the committee feel that 1 month is enough time for them to have done something? Or
Yes.
at least, let me put it this way, indicate to the director of golf a date when they are going to come.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be, see, in my mind, that would be
I have no
very
timeframe.
appropriate.
That I've been told.
And time's a wasting. I
Yeah,
mean, you know,
exactly.
it's ridiculous. I'll, you know, concede that having Matt Levesque here is a great idea. And I know Matt pretty well with the work he does in town hall, and he is always there and always talking to Mark Ells. And I think it's a great idea to have him in, Keith.
Yeah, but again, the chain of command, I don't think we need to go to the town manager at this point in time.
No,
Um,
no. I'm in a tough spot because for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
All right, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna call him and invite him and explain the situation to him. And I'll get back to Jesse. And we can have him on the agenda, so you'll know whether or not he can come or he can't come.
I would
Call
want
him.
Chris as well.
What's
I
that?
would want Chris as
Oh,
well.
Chris Ganella?
Yeah.
Do you want to invite him then?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll handle that.
all right.
Because he knows, I think everyone's frustrated. You know,
Yeah.
he's equally frustrated. He's
Yeah.
certainly not a holdup.
Well, I don't think anybody's happy about this, you know, let's be
Right,
honest,
right.
you know, so,
But every time I ask a question, the answer comes down to everybody's so busy and short-staffed. And I'm not saying that's an excuse, it could be the
Well-
actual reason, but that's what I'm told.
you know, I heard what Susan said, and we all know the complexity of this sewer project in this town. But this seems to me, Susan, to be something separate. In other words, the people that are gonna do that electrical plan over at Hyannis have nothing to do
Right.
with the sewer department and the sewer project.
Oh, I
Or
agree,
do
that
they?
was just a thought.
Okay,
Only because I see the jobs that come out every day from Human Resources, and they're still looking for so many engineers. And perhaps they're pulling engineers off of what project they might be
Okay.
involved with and utilizing them somewhere else. I don't know.
I think they're looking for engineers to go into homes to reroute the gray water
Okay,
distribution to the new sewer lines.
Okay.
And this was a point we made early
Yeah.
on. With the sewer project, there aren't enough engineers to do this in 5 years, you
Yeah.
know? So those are the engineers they're looking for. This firm, what's the name of the firm?
Habib and Associates.
And they specialize in electrical and HVAC?
HVAC, I believe, is the main,
Their main
right,
thing?
commercial,
All
right.
right, okay, so with they're an HVAC,
And-
they're not
and-
gonna, like to Keith's point, you know, they're not involved
They're
in
not, right,
with that, but I hear what you're saying about the
Yeah,
lack of
yeah.
engineers right now.
Maybe they're on a project and they can't make it over to us yet.
Yeah.
You never know what's
Yeah.
going on.
I think the point is Jesse, and this is no reflection on you, so please don't take it. We don't want to come to the next meeting and hear the exact same thing.
I don't want to tell you. the
And
same
you don't
thing.
want to,
No.
exactly. If we can either get them in, or we can get a date from them. I would think a date would be something, it's a $21,000 project.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not chicken feed. And they can give us even an approximate date, the week
Right.
of
Right.
September
And
23rd.
that's just for the
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 plan,
viewing.
yeah.
Right.
Who knows how long the actual study will take to get back?
Okay.
I would like to think quickly because that's how they get paid. But
Who has the
All right.
contract? Who would have a copy of the contract?
I will track it down.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious what it says.
Yeah.
All right.
To have an open-ended, come whenever you want.
Right.
Seems
I'll
insane
do
to
some
me.
digging, but I do not remember seeing any date.
Yeah.
We
It
want
was
to
just the scope
support,
of work.
we want to support you too. I think this is an awful lot.
It's
a heavy
frustrating.
load.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you
Well,
know,
again, I'm thinking
yeah.
long-term here in terms of when we're gonna be able to reopen.
I was hoping to
Yeah.
open the doors April 1 with a new
Right.
clubhouse, but there's
And
no
now-
chance now. There's no
And now
chance.
we're worried about, everything
And it-
going on.
And it
over there.
handcuffs,
Not to be
handcuffs off-
pessimistic, but you'll be lucky to get the build bid out by April.
Right, yeah, just all the
Just the bid.
All the more reason we should have contact with
Right,
Yeah.
Mr.
okay.
Levesque,
Yeah.
so we can clue him into the
Every
delays.
time I've spoken to him, he is very enthusiastic.
He's
And
fabulous.
as Suzanne said, I watch the town council meetings and he's very dedicated.
Good.
So, unless he has a personal commitment at this point in time, I'll call him either tonight or tomorrow. And,
I mean, at worst, he can explain to us why there's a delay.
Right.
Or he could find out why there's a delay. Maybe a.
and Chris
maybe a
Canella
reason.
as well.
He would have
Okay.
the most insight out of anybody, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good,
All right.
this is good.
All right.
Jess.
Event info. In the last few weeks, we've had 2 of our 5 club championships. That makes 4 in the books. Just the senior club championship left to be played in mid-September. A few weeks ago, Connor Levesque won the Hyannis Men's Championship following his win here at Barnstable about a month before that. Just this past Sunday, the Ladies Club Championship was here, and Lisa Packard won for the 4th time in a row.
Wow.
May I say something? I'm speaking for all the women who played. I played badly, of course, but we were very appreciative of the fact that you came out and spent time
Oh,
at the
sure,
tournament and
sure.
watched us.
I
That
like
you-
tournament days.
Well, he watched everyone, and that just feels really good when you're a
I
woman
get blamed
golfer.
for all the bad shots, too.
You did,
Like, yeah.
but hey,
Like, I'm so intimidating.
I hit my drive in front of you just fine. But I just want to say that sometimes women feel as though we're a bit of an afterthought in the world of golf, and it really meant a lot to have you there. So thank you,
I hope you'll remember, even when I was the pro, I made it a point to,
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
I'm hoping he'll teach me this winter.
not a chance. The 2-day member guest is coming up this weekend. Signups are solid, 100 players, last I talked to Mary. Typically, that's 1 round at each course, but for obvious reasons, this year, we'll be having both rounds here at Old Barney. Budget update. July was a strong month, right out the gate. Revenue was above forecast by a little over 50,000. I had us forecasted at a touch under 500, and we did right around 550, 550,000. Not surprisingly, July is our biggest month revenue-wise, and this was no exception. 550,000 is a big number. We're talking 18,000 a day, and that's with virtually no membership sold. Between the 2 courses, July saw almost 13,000 rounds. That's well over 400 each and every day. So if we did over 400 daily rounds, meaning not much room for more, and 550,000 in revenue, can anyone here take a guess what the courses of Yarmouth did in the month of July? We did 550 grand. Right. 1 million. Yes, they have 45 holes to our 36. But think about that. How is that possible, as busy as we are, that they managed to double our revenue in this past month? They're an enterprise fund just like us, meaning they're essentially tasked with being self-supported.
Because the members don't get any tee times.
We maintain, and this is where I'm gonna soapbox a little. I'm gonna get preachy a little right now. But we maintain a 50-50 split in our tee times, on our tee sheets between member rounds and fee play rounds. That's just on paper. The real number ends up being well over 50.
60-40.
Right.
Right.
Yarmouth doesn't operate that way. They've done away with Chelsea. As a member there, you only have access to whatever tee times are still available 3 days out. So basically, they sell every tee time they can, and only at 3 days out does anything not sold get opened up to the members. Not only that, they don't have a resident rate for either membership or daily play. Everyone pays the same. In fact, we're the only municipal golf operation on Cape that offers a resident discount for daily greens fees. Not membership, but just daily play. I make it a point to highlight this because I really want everyone to understand that offering resident discounts and maintaining that 50-50 tee sheet split, yes, it preserves access for our members, but it has a substantial impact on our ability to move forward with capital improvements, and frankly, even some what would be considered routine maintenance at some courses. I am by no means suggesting we go with that model, at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I think it's important people know that Barnstable Golf has prioritized discounts for residents and preservation of member access
That's the mission.
over maximizing revenue.
That's the mission
Do you
of
have
the
any idea
courses.
of how many pass holders they have over there?
I don't, and I, you know what, as I was writing this, I realized I should have got that info. I don't think it's anywhere near what we have.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, for that reason though. You know,
Right, but I played there a couple of weekends ago with my kids
Yeah.
because we couldn't get a tee time here. And you're right, it was a, public tee time
Yeah.
at, 8:30 Saturday morning for a foursome.
Right, so that, yeah, and again, not saying we go that route, I just want people to know, well, I went to this place and they have this and the place is beautiful, okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Two
different
two
model.
ranges on the course.
You got, there's tons of staff, yeah. It's
Can I give you a
different-
ride up to the first tee
Right.
there?
It's a different animal, it's a different animal. We have prioritized resident discounts and member access, and I separate those because not all members are residents, but,
Do they allow non-residents of Yarmouth to be members?
Oh yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
rate.
Same
Same-
rate,
They,
so
same
they
rate.
can buy a membership?
You could live a mile from the
Where-
golf course or in Texas, and it's
All right, it's the
$1,300.
same rate, okay.
Yeah. Just something that we maybe think about come October. Captains now has a waiting list for non-member. Dennis is
Wait a
it
minute,
doesn't take a
Captains
period
has a waiting list for what?
for non-resident members.
Oh, non-residents, okay,
There's a waiting
all
list, they
right.
have about 150 people on the waiting list. I talked to the director today. Dennis, from what I can tell on their website, is no longer taking, you have to be grandfathered in. You have to already be a non-resident. They're not taking any new non-resident
We
memberships.
should talk about
All
that.
in an attempt to preserve access,
We should talk about
We
that.
should talk about
Yeah,
Yes,
last year we went up 10% in
Didn't
an
matter.
attempt to maybe indirectly cap it. Didn't touch it.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Hey, we made an extra 20 grand or so, but it didn't touch it,
It's still a deal.
You still had to go to Yarmouth.
honestly.
Yeah, I still had to go to Yarmouth, right?
Right.
Do you remember when people were talking about golf is dying?
Yeah.
Well, golf is insanely crazy right now.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it's,
Mostly
the biggest
government.
complaint we have now is that of access,
Yeah.
which is a good problem to have in theory, but
Unless you need access.
unless you're
Yeah.
trying to, yeah.
Even
Well,
on
like
a
I told
Friday.
you, this
It's a
is
good problem to
why
have for me, not you.
I encourage women to play in the championships. Not be afraid of a leaderboard, which drives me nuts
Yeah,
because you're
yeah.
getting 4 rounds in the middle of the summer on a weekend. You own the course, so I'm always encouraging women to play in the championships, and we do have a lot of fun. But I think that's one way they can get access
Yeah.
that they're not taking
But a lot of that
advantage of.
term, club championship, turns a lot of people away.
It's so silly,
I know, to me, it's just a round of golf,
Yeah,
but
it's a round of golf.
I'm a bad person to be saying that.
Also slows play down by an hour.
It's a round of golf. It's full.
Would there, anyone else want to make a statement about this comparison that Jesse has made with the other public courses?
Just the benefit of the ranges out there. Nobody wants to play a 5-hour round
Of
on
course.
Saturday afternoon.
Right.
And you can do that here at either course.
I did it last Thursday at Bayberry. It was 5 hours.
So I
Were
played.
there ranges out there?
I teed off at 1:30. I didn't see one.
Yeah, because there were
But
two.
even if-
We played
Even
on
if there
Saturday.
were, I don't know what we
Yeah,
could
there
have
were
done.
two, and
you
just
know.
sometimes you have groups out there that are just oblivious
Sure.
to
I
pace of play,
yeah,
and they don't.
that's where I got this info. I played there last Thursday in a tournament. It wasn't like a shotgun charity tournament. It was regular tee times, and the pro was telling me they did $1 million in July. But yeah, I teed off at 1:30. It was 5 hours. But we kind of expected that because it was a competitive
Yeah,
event. but
you're putting everything in.
Correct.
Right.
It was a money event.
But I know we've talked about it here before, and it hasn't gone anywhere, but, you know, there are benefits to having a ranger on the
no question.
weekends.
So-
Finding them is the toughest thing.
So I had played with a member maybe a week and a half ago
Here or
over at Hyannis. And he had mentioned something to me and it kind of clicked with me. I mentioned it to Suzanne and Jason in passing. He was telling me that at Dennis, the Dennis courses have signage at various holes. I haven't been there, so this is secondhand
if your tee
information.
time was
Yeah.
right.
You should be X minutes ahead of, and they have it in multiple holes. And I thought that, geez, that's a good idea. Not everybody's going to adhere to it, but if you had half of them adhere to it, you'd move along the speed of play. The other thing he mentioned I thought was interesting is, why don't we solicit volunteers to be rangers?
That's
And-
a whole.
Well,
It's a legal issue.
The town of Barnstable.
Is it illegal?
Oh, volunteer.
You cannot
Oh, man, it's
compensate
So
them
are you
in some
saying
manner?
You're
are you
talking
saying
about
you can't
liability.
find them
Take it-
to hire them? You can't hire them?
Correct.
Have we looked for, have we
But you couldn't have member
advertised?
volunteers?
Oh, all year. We've had, on both sides, we've had job postings for both in the pro shop, outside, and maintenance. We never take them down. They're on the town website, they're in the paper, yeah.
Okay.
So do you remember with the whole Jim Rahilly thing last year?
Yep.
We wanted to start a volunteer, and it was, no, it has to be under direct. They have to basically be working with a staffer.
Liability.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be there doing the pointing. So they're.
So you hired Jim.
The town has become, we had to hire him,
Yeah.
yeah. The town has become super liability focused. To the point where right now
They're not alone.
I've been talking to this,
Every town.
this young man who's, he's trying to be an Eagle Scout. He was a first tee graduate, and he wants to donate a new shed that will be out of the back of the range. A lot of you probably haven't seen it, but out of at Hyannis, the back.
Oh,
the
where the
practice tee.
instruction happens.
Correct.
Yeah,
There's a shed there that's technically for storage for first tee. You could knock it over with one finger.
Right,
It's, I can't tell you how many conversations I've already had about the logistics of having a shed donated because of the liability and the insurance and it's crazy.
So you can't have
How much red
volunteers. Volunteers.
Not without an act of Congress. It's the red tape is thick. But we can't even find people to pay.
Right, so I don't think they can find this volunteer.
to
Well, I
Mark's
mean, if
point.
you had members, and if you said, especially like non-resident members that have, the prices have gone up, if you were able to offer them a discount in return for X number of hours.
Good luck.
Can't
Yeah,
do it.
Good luck.
Can't do that.
Yeah. The bartering days are over. Yeah. Yeah, I've been approached by a bunch of people. Hey, I'll build you this and you give me my membership for the year.
How about the
Those days are
signage?
gone.
How about signage for speeding up play?
We can
When
look
you
at
get
that. How are they formatted? So it's like I've seen them a couple times.
I haven't been over there. This is secondhand information I received.
So it's basically like
But if you did every 3 holes,
Right.
just a reminder is really what it is.
yeah,
Well,
fancy
we can
cards
have that
will
on
tell
the
you if you're
scorecards,
on a
right?
it's on the
position.
scorecard.
So no one really looks at
but,
that.
Yeah.
but no, if there was something on the 6th tee that said you should be less than an hour 15 from your tee time right
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
or whatever the math is on
Yeah.
it.
I've seen clocks too, that.
That's what I was trying to figure out how
Yeah,
that works.
Right, I forget how it worked too.
Well,
Because-
Well, GPS,
Citizens, right?
yeah, on
In
good,
the fancy cards, there's
Yeah.
a running clock. It tells you
Oh
whether,
god, yeah, it's
whether
either
you're on
green,
or
red,
off.
or yellow. Yeah,
well, it tells you if you're out of position.
right. I looked into that stuff, and it's just we can't afford it.
You can't afford it.
No,
The
it's-
bigger issue I have is the enforcement.
Well, you can't enforce that. I mean, the
When there's-
signage is kind of just a reminder.
No,
But
but
if
I'm
you don't
talking
have a
about I'm
ranger-
talking about rangers.
Yeah, if you don't have a ranger, you're.
Yeah.
I love Mary, but I've made comments making the turn. I'm like, the group in front of me is 3 groups behind,
Yeah,
which is
that's-
like they're under 210, they're fine. But there's no reason, even if you're under 210, you should be three holes behind the
No,
group in front
it's
of you.
both. I mean, they might be 420 handicappers, and for them, 205 is perfectly acceptable 9, and the group in front of them might be Connor Levesque and Joe Hunt, and you know what I mean? And yeah, so how do
We
you?
play in 310. I don't
you
want to
know,
be there
That's
for
what
4
I
and a half.
know. How do you tell 420 handicappers you need?
You don't get the tee off till noon.
Oh jeez.
Oh, man. There
It's-
you go.
Slow play has been a problem since the start of golf
Oh, yeah.
around the entire earth, And I don't know if we're gonna solve it in this room, but,
As I said, the signs
it
might,
can't hurt.
might cause 25% of them to speed up. I
Right.
don't know. That would be helpful either way.
I'll do some research, and talk to, our sign person, not Bob. It is Bob, but it's Bob, McDonough.
Let Polly do the printing.
You know the issue I had a few weeks ago, we talked about it at length, where I had to actually leave because it was so horrendous, but I was so upset that I actually wrote something. Welcome to Barnstable Golf. You know, we're happy to have you here. And the people I was thinking this would be for are these groups of folks who don't
They
necessarily.
play twice a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just to have a handout to give them and, you know, so this is how you keep,
Handout or signage?
no, I'm talking about maybe some, you know, a handout. It would end up littering the course probably. James
Yeah.
is like, no handouts. But I guess what I'm thinking is that these groups, we want them here, we want to welcome them. Golf is for everyone. But I can guarantee you that they don't understand that,
Right. We'd have to give it to every group, otherwise it's patronizing.
or give
Put
it
it in
to
the cart.
the guy who actually.
Like a laminated thing inside the
Yeah,
car.
yeah, something
Okay.
like that, Jesse, that, it just, I'll share what I wrote out of
Yeah,
my
yeah, send it.
frustration, and
Sure.
then could that be turned into a laminated card, that you're, or even giving something to the person who organizes the group outing? Could you share this with your members before they go?
I'm all
golf?
for, at least putting something in the carts that's laminated,
Yeah.
that's weatherproof and,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that at other places.
yeah,
Well,
No,
there's a
that's
number of things you could say. Leave the course in better shape than you found
That's
it.
Exactly.
usually what it is. It's more replace divots and it's
Yeah.
more condition
And ball
focused.
marks
marks on the greens.
yeah.
Right.
But pick up your ball, you know, they just think they have to keep hitting and hitting and hitting, you know, till, you know, they don't understand that there's a USGA max score to keep the
Yeah.
play going along, you know, so. Anyway, just a thought, Jesse, can I share
Please.
what I wrote? You'll probably laugh at it, but, I'm just thinking
won't
there's
know.
stuff that we have to do, to remind people about pace of play, because it's an important aspect of golf.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That's all I had. Again, I wasn't trying to say let's go that direction. I think it's important people know that.
Can I ask a question about what you were talking about, Suzanne? What do you have for starters? Every day, all day?
Here, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hyannis, just the busier times, Friday through Monday.
It's imperative that your starter be the guy, first of all, the gracious guy that greets everybody.
Yeah.
But also reminds them that, you know, hey, while you're out there, keep the group in front of you, visually in front of you, and, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's kind of what we go through where we are, but, I mean, we have starters from 6 to 6.
Right.
So
And
it's,
they're out there with the iPad and everything, right?
oh, yeah, we got
Yeah.
it all. Yeah.
You're right.
It's just-
Yeah.
But you're sitting there with them and with the carts now, the new carts, and they have those geofencing things going on in the carts. So if they go too close to something, you've got to explain to them, hey, if you get too close to a hazard, your cart's going to stop. So now you got to learn. But you establish a rapport with them, and they get the idea as to why.
There's a fine line, I think, between welcoming somebody, giving them the lay of the land, and lecturing somebody who just gave you a
Oh,
bunch
absolutely.
of money.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you don't
That's
want
what I
to
want to stay away from.
Yeah, you need
know.
the guy that's,
A
you
guy
know.
like a Croce, or
One of the issues here too is that the starter manages the range balls. So oftentimes the starter is so busy.
right.
It's mostly men, I think, here, aren't even aware that people are taking off and headed for the tee box. So, I don't know, some places you can get your own, you know, so,
I will be looking into range ball dispensing machines.
yay! That would be great, that would help.
Holly Ridge, like Holly Ridge?
Yes,
Yeah,
where-
that's good, yeah.
Credit card done.
Yeah, we have that now.
Yeah, they Yarmouth has it.
only did
It's not. Those are so expensive. It's not something I want to pull the trigger on this early in our fiscal year.
Right,
That's something that, like, come April, we're doing even May, if we're doing well, then I'll pull the trigger on it, you know.
That might help with course
I don't wanna
management.
spend 30 grand right now and then
Yeah.
have him barking at me come May, cause they spent the whole bunch.
Range ball dispenser,
Yeah.
Jesse?
You know,
Well, it
use
would
the
help with
tractor.
course management. What we're talking about is course management.
Yeah.
And,
more staff is always the answer.
yeah,
But
you're
it's,
right.
it's, there's a reason we're giving back, God, last year 50, 60,000, I say giving back, it's going into our reserve, but it's unspent money. We didn't wanna save that money.
No,
just
I
couldn't
know,
find
I know.
anybody.
It's
what-
it's
tough.
endemic on Cape
That's with
Cod.
my guy, I mean, I think Dan Fetter
So, yeah.
and Dawn Peterson have worked every Saturday and Sunday this summer.
Wow,
They just,
that's
And
crazy.
that's
So
not a
that's-
good way to keep your people, you know.
No.
I mean, you know, in the golf course business, in the, you know, June, July, and we call it the 100-day war, and the, at least PGA pros, you know that's the time you're gonna be working a crazy amount, but
Yeah.
still, I wanna prevent burnout, but it's tough.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but after time to starter, I played with my grandkids a lot in the afternoons, and after time to starter is teaming a single with 3 people or 2 people with other 2 people,
Right.
and you know, trying to increase the pace of play so you don't have
Yes.
2 and 2 and a single and.
Right.
you know.
I can't
Yeah.
stand that.
Yeah.
You know, I was just a twosome and the 4 wouldn't let me through. Well, they might have let 15 singles and twosomes through and they fed up with it. Like,
Yeah.
they're out there playing golf correctly in a foursome.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, why should they be inconvenienced all the time?
Yeah.
That's, I don't have a lot of sympathy for the single or twosome that thinks they're just gonna fly through everybody.
You know, a few
know.
years ago, though, the twilight hours, it was like that. You could come up here and, you know, there was nobody on
Yeah.
the course. But now that's
Yeah.
not the case any longer.
I
And
wouldn't wanna go out there as a single or two.
I loved it.
It's It's funny, you go, at least back in the day, you go to like Hyannisport, and that's all it is, singles and twosomes.
Yeah.
You hardly would see a foursome.
When I first
I don't know
moved
if that's
to,
changed now, that golf has exploded.
yeah, when I first moved to the Cape in the twilight hours, you could practically be out there by yourself.
Yeah.
And lucky to have another person with you. Well, thank you very much for everything you all do, all of you.
Jesse, I would just like to make a statement about your original point about what goes on with the other public golf courses. And while I don't have the mission of the town of Barnstable on the tip of my tongue, I do know that a big part of it is to be concerned about the physical, emotional, and social parts of people's lives. And I, for one, have always been very proud of Barnstable Golf, because I believe that we address the physical, emotional, and social parts of golf. And a big reason that we can do that is we have the Chelsea system, and we have a 50-50 breakdown. And so men and women, a lot of times, can play with their friends, they can get tee times in advance, and this becomes, like I've said many times before, a home away from home for many, many of the citizens of Barnstable. And again, I'm not saying
Yeah.
you're disagreeing with that.
Nope.
I really just want to make sure, from my point of view, that we never lose track of that
I'm not
emphasis.
advocating to go away
No.
from our model, but I
No.
think you need to understand that with that model, you lose other things.
Right.
In the
Everything's
form
a
of
trade-off.
revenue maximization, you lose that. And that's fine, if that's what we want, that's fine. But I think it's important people know.
If you're privately owned, it's what
If
you
the
want.
town of Barnstable is worried about liability issues, one thing I'd be concerned about is coming up the 9th hole on Hyannis. The last couple of times I played, the
The
balls
range,
were raining into the 9th
Oh, the rain.
from the range.
yeah, that's a
From the
tough
range
one,
or
I
from
mean,
number one?
no, from the range. Oh, that
From the
too,
range,
but more
Yeah,
the range, yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's something we try to, I have numerous times I've gone over and said to somebody, hey, just, you could just see it. I know what you mean. I mean, I think a net would be just fiscally out of the, I think you're talking $500,000 or if not more. It's a problem at a lot of courses,
And
Hyannisport,
the
Comiquid.
power lines, I don't know if they let you put up a net on their
Oh,
easement.
true,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not even, that's an
that's
easement, yeah.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
why they cut down all those trees that used
No,
to-
at Hyannis put, they shut down the range if people are coming down 16.
They're supposed
or
to stop
18.
hitting,
Yeah, they're
yes,
supposed to stop,
right.
yeah.
That could be another signage that I'll,
Yeah.
a few on the range saying, please note, there are golfers.
Aim towards 132 instead.
Yeah, please, hit the
Plant some
cars.
trees, plant some trees.
Hit the cars.
Oh, he's getting evil.
James, James, can you lime a line on the left side that say, if you're hitting it that way, aim that way?
That's an excellent suggestion.
Maybe you can
Jason
teach
just
slicing.
Oh, I didn't.
I said,
Jason,
can you
you
lime a
people slice.
line on the left side, so you can say, if you're on the range and you're crossing the line, turn,
Yeah.
aim that way.
Reorient yourself, or stop
Yeah.
hitting.
Because they do, once it gets down to the end, it does go that way. I can't imagine.
Well, there's one thing if you're hooking it down by the end of the tee box,
Yeah, that's fine, you're right.
that's one thing, but it's the people that are going dead left, so,
Yeah.
like, you're inside 150 on 9 and the ball's coming at you,
Right. That's,
It's
those are the
dangerous.
problem shots.
because those are coming in hot.
Oh, yeah.
They're not dribbling.
But if you're coming down the tee box and you're landing and rolling up, that's a pretty big ball for a lot of people to get down there. But the ones inside the power line, inside 150 as you're coming up,
And there's a lot of them.
they're
I see golf
smoking.
balls there all the time.
I walk up that left side and I'm flicking them back into
Yep. And whoever's picking a lot of times, if there's not a group on 9, they'll take the picker up
yeah.
through that way.
Every Saturday and Sunday morning, I'm flicking them back
Yeah.
into the drain.
Yeah,
That's
so
right, yeah,
here
for the
on
penalty, it's gonna
on
be-
16, balls from the tips that go right.
Saves them
green.
20 minutes picking
Pose
them all
danger
up.
for the 17th green,
Right.
as you all
And
know.
there's hundreds of them all this.
We had an incident recently, so is there signage up there among the blues?
There isn't.
I don't know what that would do. People slice.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's this?
Don't
I thought
slice.
16 feet, 17 green here.
What I heard was there wasn't a maybe a signage that said something like, 4 right, or something like that.
Oh, no, we
Just
scream all the
4.
time.
Huh?
We scream all the time.
What?
We scream all the time, from the blues to try to cut the corner to
Do
get.
you yell 4 right? Because a woman had her kind of skull
Yeah.
split open the other day.
Yeah.
All right, so 4 right is, I'm just thinking
Well-
to suggest that people yell 4 right, because
I mean,
when they
that-
yell 4, I just, cover my head
Well,
on
that's
that
not the
green.
only way, because if you're on 4,
4, you can hit
you
it
can
over
hit
there.
it over there too.
Yeah. I mean, if we have to teach people to yell 4, wow.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying to
That's
yell
quite
4
a
right.
poke off from 4.
Mm-mm.
Never mind.
Not from the blues,
Sorry.
if you hit a hybrid and you
We're
slice
going
it,
back to,
Yeah.
because you're talking a 200
Are we
yard
done?
shot, it's
Mr.
easy to get
I would
to.
love to be.
Okay.
I mean, you won't hit him on the green, but you can hit him walking up the
Just
fairway.
making a suggestion that a member made to me, that improving some signage that, to take care on that. whole
Any other
that's all.
questions for Jesse?
I've never seen
No? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second. 17.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.